Hi everyone, welcome back to Basketry Merit Badge. Today we'll be making our stools. So to start, just kind of pull all the wood out of your bag and then we'll just get started. Alrighty, so you can see that I've separated kind of our rods from the rest of our material here. So it doesn't matter which square piece of wood you grab to start. All of the pieces of the squares, like all of them are the same. They have two different sets of holes. There's one side that has, a hole further down about 2 inches or so, and then the other side has one that's like, half an inch or so. So it doesn't matter what you do, just grab kind of one and start. Just kind of lay it in front of you. And then kind of grab your round pieces of wood and kind of twist them in there. If some of them are kind of hard to twist in, just grab your mallet, pop them in a little bit. When we're done, we're just going to kind of mallet the whole thing, kind of make sure it's square anyway, so it's not a big deal. So we're just going to kind of turn our wood then and stick them in the other holes. And twist it in. And then we can just grab the other piece of wood, which now you can see. So this piece of wood on my table here, I have it right now on this side that's further down, so about like the inch or 2 inches down. So we're going to grab our wood and look at our other piece and then find the set of holes that is further down. So we have that, and then we're just going to place it the same way. So you can see that there's the same distance that you're looking down and when you look up. So we're just going to place them in there like so. You can kind of just look underneath and you can see the holes. Push it in a few times. And then we're just going to turn it. And then we're going to place our other wood into the holes. Just twist them in there a little bit. And then just do the same thing with your wood. So we look, and this time I have my the square piece of wood on the bottom. It's one of the ones where the hole is close to the top. So we look for our other piece with the hole close to the top. And then we just line them up like so. Hammer them in a few times. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because we'll fix them in the future. We twist and we do the same thing. So it's fairly easy to build the structure of it. And then we grab our last piece, and now the hole is further down again. So we grab our piece of wood that's further down. We line it up. Might be a little bit tight, but that's okay. If you find that one side's tight and you can't push it in, you can just angle the other side back up and then kind of work from there. So we can kind of just untwist it then and just push evenly down, and it'll probably work better. Yeah, see how that worked better that time? And then we just kind of turn it and do the same thing. Kind of align it. Push it in there just a little bit, and then we can go with our mallet, go around, hammer them all in there. Don't be afraid to use a little bit of force on it. You want this to be nice and square when we are weaving. So we do that to all of it. And then we'll look and see if it's square. So if you look at it, you can say, it looks pretty square. If you want to go crazy, you can kind of stand up and look at it, and let's say this one you want to hammer in a little bit more. You just do that. Again, it's not perfect, but it works. So we have a square. And so then we'll be ready to start weaving our basket. So we have an example here that's kind of started. So to start off, when we started weaving this, all we did was we took a double knot. Like if you're tying your shoe, we just did that twice to the first thing. We pushed it all the way to the end of our stool. And then we just started wrapping above the top row here. So how we had those two holes earlier where the one was further down and the one was further up, we're using the one that you have the hole closer to the top. So what I did was I went and I wrapped the twine around, and then I kind of put a little space every 10 wraps around, because we have to do this 72 times total, and we don't want to lose our number on what we're on. So then we don't have to go back and count every time. So I just left that little bit of gap. So this was 50 here. So I'm on 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So we're just going to keep going. So I grab my roll, I go up, I keep it nice and tight as I go. I kind of keep my other finger going along it, and then I pull it back, and I keep it tight again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 56. This would be 57. And again, we're going to do this all the way up until 72. 58. You can see the ball after a while will start to unravel a little bit, and that's okay. Just kind of hold on to it tight. You can always wrap around the other end. Do whatever you can so it's in one hand, and you just keep going. So this will be 60. And since I know I'm on my last group here, what I can do is I can kind of just move them all down, and now I have 12 more. So I can move everything to the end and then keep going. Like I mentioned, you want to make sure that this is tight, but not too tight. So I should be able to bend it and it can move a little bit, but you don't want it to be like floppy. So we have 12 left. Your string might get a little wound up. So we do 1, my twine got like super unraveled, which it can happen to you, it probably will. So all that I did was I cut it off with my scissors, and then I just kind of started it again. And we're just going to do a simple double knot where we go over, yeah, square knot. So you can do that as many times as you need as your twine unravels and it gets kind of knotted. So then you can see right here where I knotted it at. It's underneath and it will be easily hidden. Nobody will be able to see it. What you can always do after you have your knot, kind of take your scissors and just snip the ends off, make it easily hidden, and then we're good to continue. So I have my 72 wraps around here with our twine, so now it's time to finish it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of cut my twine a little bit down. Just kind of, when you look at it and it goes past your corner here, you're good. So we're just going to take it like that, and then we're just going to tie it off. I kind of just tucked it in on the end, and you can't even see where I ended my knot at. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to spread these out a little bit and kind of make it take up as much of the stool as possible. You don't really want people to see through your twine into looking down, because then it's kind of too spread out. So just make it look okay where you have a little space in between and it takes up most of the stool. We're ready to move on to the next part. So this one we're going to do, we're going to split our 72 wraps around. We're going to actually split them into thirds. So it's going to be about 24. So I'm just going to turn my basket and I'm going to count, just kind of grab an end and start and just count 24 real quick. So this is 24 here. So just kind of put a little bit of a split here. And then go to your other end and count the 24. So we're just putting a little bit of a split here, because what we're going to do then is we're going to turn our stool back this way, and then you kind of can just look and see where your mark in between is. Grab your mallet or something that you can kind of stick underneath. We're just going to stick it underneath our first layer here, so it sets like this. And then your mallet is a good thing for it because it kind of props up your twine a little bit, and so you can really see that big gap. So the reason that we're doing this is because for our next part, we're going to go above and we're going to go under it and then around. So we want to make sure that we're not going above. So we're going to start by doing our square knot. It could be anywhere. Just kind of go over it and make sure your knot is tight. And then if you have a lot of excess, you can kind of just take the twine and just cut it. So we just kind of put it on our rod right there. And so we have our re-round up ball because it kind of came apart. So we're just going to take this then and just feed it under just the group right here. So just the middle section. So this right here is kind of a tighter ball. That's what I kind of did. But if it's still too big and you can't fit it in between, you can grab like a ruler or a stick and just wrap your twine all around it. It makes it easier for the twine to slide underneath the bin itself, or the stool itself. So we're just going to kind of go underneath here. And we're going to do this 24 times. So I'll explain it a few times. So we went under, see? And then we're going to go around and under the round spool right here. So we go like this, we go all the way under, and we wrap it, and we keep it tight again like last time, where you don't want it too tight, but you want it tight enough. If you notice that it's too tight, you can see that you're actually pushing down on the twine right here. You can see if I pull on it tight, you can see that big like dip right there. We don't want that. So you kind of just keep it loose enough. So again, we do this 24 times in the center. So we just kind of push the ball under, grab it through, and continue. And again, if you find that your ball is, unwinding, you can always just take it again and just take a quick pause. You can kind of, cut it, then you can rewrap and then just knot it up again like we did before and just keep going. Alrighty, so you can see that we now have our 24 wraps around here, and so we're good to move on to the next step. So we're just going to remove our mallet from our first, our split in the middle of the 24. So now we have 24 wraps on each side. So what we're going to do this time is we're just going to take our mallet or whatever you used last time, place it underneath our first 24, over our second group of 24, and then under our third group of 24. It gets a little tight, but you kind of just twist it, and it looks something like this. So then what you're going to do is we're going to take our 24 wraps that we did the first time right here when we just finished them. We're just going to move them down. It gets a little bit tight, but we're just going to push them out of the end so we have a little bit more space to work with for wrapping the next time. So it's just something like this, and then you're good to go. So now this time, we have an added step here. It gets a little more challenging, but I have the full confidence that you guys will be able to figure this out. So what we're going to do this time is we have two places to go under instead of the one. So when we're wrapping around, we're just going to start. I like to grab my group of twine right here, kind of go underneath. You can see it's still pretty tight here with my ball. If you wanted to kind of grab that stick or ruler if you haven't yet, and you can just wrap it around. We have that ruler in the kit for you guys if you want to use it. So we just kind of wrap it like that underneath one. And then we can grab our second group right here. And we go under 24 times. It gets a little tight and you just kind of push it through. And then like last time, you just go under the whole set right here. And then we go over and we just do the whole thing. So 24 times, same way, fairly simple. So after we're done with our 24 going like this, then you would just simply move it down again. So let's say we have 24 here. We're just going to move them down. We would then take our mallet out, and then we would look back and see our 24 in the middle that we had originally split into 3. So we grab that second group right in the middle. We grab the mallet like we would the first time and separate it. And then we just go back to wrapping like we did the first time right here when we wrapped around 24 times, where you just go under once. So I know it's a little complicated. If you guys have questions about any of it, ask during our next Zoom session, anything like that. Ask a brother or sister, anybody in your troop, things like that. And you'll be able to finish it off just by like doing the square knot again on the spool or like anywhere around there. Anywhere where your rope finishes really, because you might run out of a little bit of rope. So you can always just kind of hide it by placing it underneath any of the twine. And yeah, there you have it. You'll have a stool. Make sure, like I said earlier when we did our baskets, I like to kind of put my name and like the date on it or something like that. This year you can do the Camp On logo or something like that. And then you'll be good to go and you have a stool. So it's pretty cool.